Happy Tuesday morning, March 31st, 2020, the last day of March. I'm Riley King. Welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Tuesday morning, so let's begin. First up, national coronavirus update. U.S. coronavirus deaths surpass 300. Here is the latest. In the United States, there are more than 163,000 cases according to Johns Hopkins University tally. At least 3,000 people have died nationwide. The president said on Sunday extended federal social distancing guidelines until the end of April. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued a travel advisory on Saturday, urging people in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut to refrain from non-essential domestic travel for the next 2 weeks. Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, said on Sunday that more than 100,000 Americans could die from the coronavirus. Globally, the number of cases has surpassed 784,000, with more than 37,000 deaths, Hopkins reports. Now, let's take a look at the coronavirus update in New Hampshire. What you need to know. And here is your COVID-19 information in New Hampshire, what you need to know. There are 314 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 770,653 number of people worldwide who have tested positive. 3 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 45 number of people hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire, and 2,880 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. There are 0 cases in Coos, 29 cases in Grafton, 10 cases in Carroll, 9 cases in Belmont, 17 cases in Stratford, 18 cases in Merrimack, 3 cases in Sullivan, 3 cases in Cheshire, 99 cases in Hillsborough, and 100 cases in Rockingham. New cases each day in New Hampshire. In the purple are daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange are hospitalizations, and in the red are deaths. Common symptoms: fever, cough, and difficult breathing. How it spreads. And prevention tips. And that is your COVID-19 information for New Hampshire. Governor announces additional expansion of unemployment benefits. 56 new cases of COVID-19 announced by state epidemiologists. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Hi, I'm Sherry Allen, proud owner of Mercedes-Benz in Portsmouth. We put every effort into making Mercedes...
New Hampshire public health officials have released a town-by-town map providing some insight into the number of COVID-19 positive cases. But they add people should now assume the virus is in every community.
We believe there are increasing numbers of people with community-based transmission of COVID-19.
And tonight, Governor Sununu is asking Washington for a major disaster declaration, which would help cover the cost of deploying the National Guard to assist first responders and healthcare professionals if necessary.
We don't know exactly why we may need to do it. My sense is at some point we will. We just want to have the readiness and know that the federal government's going to be behind us when we do.
In the meantime, to help ease the economic burden of COVID-19, the governor has announced an increase in minimum unemployment benefits.
We're increasing the weekly minimum benefit from $32 a week to $168 a week.
Plus, starting next week, an additional $600 per week will be given to unemployed workers through federal funds.
In order to access these benefits, there is nothing additional that folks need to do. They need to continue to file their claims just like they are doing now. They will not notice any different in terms of the process through which they need to access these benefits.
Governor Sununu is also extending the duration of state unemployment benefits by 13 weeks to a total of 39 weeks. Also tonight, the governor says he is moving the deadlines for business tax payments as well as interest and dividend tax payments to June 15th. We're live here tonight in Concord. I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. State health officials announced town-by-town list of positive COVID-19 tests. State epidemiologist provides updates. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
We put every effort into making her safe.
State epidemiologist Dr. Benjamin Chan says this stay-at-home effort is critical to decrease the number of COVID-19 cases and slow the spread.
I think people need to anticipate that we're going to see increasing cases in New Hampshire at least over the next several weeks, possibly longer.
Dr. Chan says flattening the curve can prevent healthcare workers from being overwhelmed. Tonight, he says it is difficult to predict when we will reach the outbreak peak here. New Hampshire is studying other countries like China and Italy and other states like New York.
We're some amount of time behind these other areas in terms of increases in case counts. Typically what we see is that once we implement more strict interventions to try and slow the spread of this virus in our communities, it can be potentially even up to 3 weeks until we see an impact of these interventions on the spread within our communities.
Dr. Chan says the state is working with hospitals trying to acquire more PPE, personal protective equipment, for healthcare workers. He says New Hampshire has received periodic shipments from the Strategic National Stockpile without saying exactly how much.
There are struggles around the country, including in New Hampshire, with making sure that we have the necessary resources like masks and gowns and face shields.
And Dr. Chan tells us this will be an ongoing challenge. Jean Mackin, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Addiction recovery centers using technology to stay connected with people. Meetings to help keep recovering addicts sober. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Zoom is having a moment right now. The meeting app that the business world has been using for a while is a gateway for people in recovery to stay connected and stay sober while they stay at home.
It can get a little chaotic, especially in the beginning of the meeting. All the microphones are not muted.
It's not perfect, but it's getting the job done, and people are using it a lot.
I've been taking advantage of the Zoom meetings. As awkward as it is, meetings save my life. That's what keeps me sober today.
Patrick will mark 5 years sober in May. Christopher just hit the 1 year mark and is also using Zoom meetings for support right now.
It is helpful because we do, we can interact and we can see each other, but it's not quite.
Human connection and accountability are the cornerstones of success in many things, including recovery.
Stay with it. Just be vigilant. Open your eyes to new experiences.
Farnham Center has had to change their model of support in recovery. Zoom meetings and Facebook Live are the tools they use, and they've noticed something lately.
The screen to hide behind, so to speak. You've seen more people interested in recovery and interested in what meetings look like, and they're able to do that from the confines and safety of their own home.
We've put a link to all the online meetings available around the state on our website, WMUR.com. Click and connect from your phone or your computer. We're in this together. In Manchester, Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire Catholic Charities launches crisis fund for COVID-19 outbreak. Goal of $250,000 by mid-April. Let's take a listen to that video from... Sorry about that. We do not have that video for you. Our control room is telling us. New Hampshire Catholic Charities has launched a crisis fund to help those in need during the COVID-19 outbreak. A $100,000 anonymous donation has kicked off the fund with a goal of reaching $250,000 by mid-April. Those funds are coming from individuals and corporations. The fund will help the emergency financial relief, food assistance for seniors who are homebound, isolated or disabled, unplanned child care expenses for essential staff at Catholic Charities skilled nursing facility, and across to teletherapy for the disabled and those who can't travel. We're really looking to help with typical everyday household bills that residents around New Hampshire encounter that they would normally have paid for with their paychecks, said Thomas Blonsky, the president of Catholic Charities. If you would like to contribute to the New Hampshire Charity Crisis Fund, you can do so by visiting www.cc-nh.org/fund. Tommy DePaula, professional children's author and New Hampshire resident, dies at 85. Beloved author created Strega Nona character. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Hi, I'm Sherry Allen, proud owner of Mercedes-Benz in Portsmouth. We put every effort into making Mercedes...
I really can go back to what it felt like being a child.
That was Tommy DePaula back in 2014, appearing on New Hampshire Chronicle, talking about his success as a children's author.
He always came across as so young. It's just, no matter what his age was, it's still a shock and very devastating.
Michael Herman, owner of Gibson's bookstore in Concord, just got the news he passed away.
I remember when I first bought Gibson's, he was already just such a legend. I was so nervous to meet him. But then when I did, he was just very generous with his time and just really full of fun. And
DePaula created hundreds of books during his career, including Strega Nona.
Wonderful artist. He kept exploring new avenues in his art. up well into his 80s, right? You know, right through his last book. Just the sweetness of his soul would always just come through, no matter what his text was, and his art was just always so imaginative.
Herman even has an original illustration hanging in his house.
So I'm just here, sort of representing thousands of people. There's nothing special about me. There are a lot of people who knew him so well.
Alan Chung, the director of the Currier Museum in Manchester, recalls meeting him several years ago.
Tommy DePaolo is one of the great artists of the state, greatly beloved for his personality.
In 2018, his work was shown during a special exhibition that Chung won't forget.
And I think it's that fusion of his life and his art that was really so special, and we'll miss him very much.
Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Features positive again in choppy trade following markets rebound from massive coronavirus sell-off. Stock features were positive in a choppy trading early Tuesday morning following the market's rebound from its deep rout triggering by the coronavirus pandemic. And that does it for this Tuesday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.